All right, I'm giving a last minute correction here. I was a little tired and I made a few mistakes. Uh, Dana Cardwell 7-2 and 5 KOs against Lorenzo Lonadon. And I said, hey, I don't know who he is. Who is that? He never saw him in the day. And the brain wasn't quite working. Lonadon actually is a good Filipino fighter. This is fights going on in Australia, and Filipinos are very fierce. He's a good prospect. He's no pushover, but Coolwell is going to give him the cooling treatment. He's going to ice him. Okay? It's going to be a much better fight than I predisposed before. All right. Now another when I may have made a mistake. I, Mark Chamberlain against Mark Vidal. That is the ones that are going on in England on Saturday. This is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a good fight. I say Vidal is, I would say, a solid fighter. He's a solid fighter. But Mark Chamberlain, very good prospect. Tall. He's about tall. He's also a good boxer puncher, smooth, and he has too much class. Not the other guy doesn't have class. He's probably good to his wife and kids, but he ain't gonna be no Mark. That Mark is gonna get the Mark Vidal is not gonna be victorious against Chamberlain. Well, I'm hesitating to go about this thing because I am not today. I do know quite a bit about what the future may hold. And don't forget, the future is not fixed, dynamic. So even it's not written in stone. Past is written in stone. Unless you can forget about the certain things in the past, and maybe it's not so written. But anyway, uh, and the present is dynamic. Go a lot of different ways. This is what I'm going to talk to you about. Something that's very minds don't want to escape these days by sports. You can't always do that. The Ukrainian Russian war, you can't always escape that. In the boxing, they don't exactly some fighters can't fight because they're Russian and promoters. So it leaks into our consciousness. My my heart is with the Ukrainians, but my brain says that the Russians, the Ukrainians on a tactical level have the advantage because they are fighting for their homeland with gusto and courage and everything else like that. But they're a small country, and even though they get a lot of support from us, strategically the Russians have too much resources to use. So I'll get into it right now. Or, I have to go really examine. I'm a bit of a history nerd buff, and I think what's going to happen is we're going to force the Ukrainians eventually to compromise, and they're going to become. They're not going to be a puppet of Russia, but they will not be in NATO, and they will not. Russia will have a good influence. They're going to get that coast area. They're going to cut off the food supply. They're going to do atrocities towards the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians eventually going to try to no atrocity right back. Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be messy. It's going to be messy, and honestly, I don't think America is going to, or the world for that matter, just don't lay it all on us, is going to sacrifice an indefinite situation in terms of our economy, in terms of the danger and time of war and all that kind of stuff. So, sorry to say, but I might be wrong. I could go into this more, or I might not. I might, keep it toward just boxing and comedy and stuff like that. You know, maybe I'm not sure. I do the secret musings of Nostradamus. Anyway, Another thing, going into dangerous land, what's going on with in terms of our electoral process? Is Joe Biden going to run for president in 3 years? So the Democrats going to retain part of the Congress? As the Republicans, Trump going to ride triumphantly back into the Washington? Is Ron DeSantis going to be the standard bearer? My opinion, yeah, we're going to have a slow. I could go into detail the potential realities that they could happen. And this is not necessarily what I want to happen because of my own biases. This could be just, the potentials. Um, if you go into that, I personally believe what's going to end up happening is that Ron DeSantis is going to be the standard bearer for the Republicans, presidential, together with our Vice President Nikki Barry. And that would be in the middle of the road thing. Who will be against them? It's anybody's guess at this point. Too fluid and dynamic in terms of the Democratic Party. I don't think Biden is going to be up to it. He's just too old. And whether you agree with what he's doing or not, the man is, there's a limitation to how much the body at a certain age, or it's individual, of course, but he looks like he's failing. I don't even have to be Nostradamus to observe that. And as for Kamala Harris, well, she can make the standard bearer, but it's not gonna be easy. Maybe they get two broads, AOC and Kamala Harris. I'm gonna get the comment section. They call them broads. We'll see. It's exciting in a scary sort of way. Could we head to civil war? I don't know. Certainly the emotions are there. Everybody wants to kick everybody else's butt for having an opinion. And I'm not sure. And I can see, but I think it's going to go middle road. I think the Republicans is going to, for a while, going to win the whole, control the borders. What's going to happen in China? Well, while we're distracted from our domestic situation and Russia's going off on, battling Ukrainians, sort of like a trench warfare, attrition warfare. I think the Chinese are going to make, or the red Chinese. I like to call them red Chinese, actually, as opposed to China or Chinese, because there are people who aren't red Chinese, the Taiwanese, the Hong Kong, all the immigrants here, all that stuff, China, or red China, is going to be up to shenanigans while we're distracted. There's a potential of a little naval war between us and them, an air war. They could blockade Taiwan and with the naval and air forces, and we can have a little conflict. If we're mixed up in our own little domestic disputes, we might not be in a position to interfere and balance out. So the world could be a little unbalanced for a while. But don't worry, it's not going to be a total atomic war. But you're always afraid of us Three Stooges pipe fight. Hey, I threw an atomic bomb. No, we'll throw atomic bombs and all this stuff. I think it'll end with the compromise and, long before we go boom, 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 everybody gets below it. Middle East, I ain't going to go into that. You get messy there too. Let's see what else. In the meantime, we got boxing. Boxing. I have predictions. I think what's going to happen is boxing is going to be okay as long as it's not time for. I have a prediction, crazy prediction. I believe that a female fighter will get to a level where she would be able to compete with competent male fighters. Not the best. The best male fighter will always beat the best female fighter. But I believe this. I believe that's possible. And this is my predictions. I'm going into and I'm going to do comedy. On that comedy, I'm going to do it. May not be what you call your basically politically correct because I'm on its own, and dated and the world was not as full for cis people didn't get offended as much. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I'm that way. You know, I'm 63 years old. It was just my birthday, but I got the lumps. I got my heart, got the diabetes, I got the overweightness, and the comorbidity. The virus didn't even get me. Didn't even give me a sneeze. I'm immune to that particular virus. Maybe I'm not saying I'm immune to all viruses. Like Ebola probably will melt me as much as it would melt you. Monkeypox, I don't fool around that much. That I get the monkeypox. I don't understand. I wouldn't want to get there making monkeypox. We'll say this monkeypox going on. In my day, you get a little, what you want to call it, you get a hole sore in your lip. You get nervous, not alone the whole situation going on there. But some people commit to the sex. They want to have the sex no matter what. Yeah, I understand. I understand at a certain level. But I wouldn't wrestle with muscle pox. I wouldn't wrestle with somebody who had the monkeypox. Anyway, I've said enough. I don't even know if I'm going to put this on the general Nostrovini website. I'll do it. Secret musings of Nostrovini. Anyway, gotta go. Gotta go. Layla's looking over my shoulder. Look at Layla. Hello, Layla. My father's up there. The youthful Vinny's over here. That is Portuguese, one of the female and pioneers of female bodybuilding. I know this. I know this. You don't know this. Yeah. Goodbye. Let me go. How do I get out of here? Bum.